And joining me now is Sunil Gavaskar. We are going to raise that big question, is this the best ODI team? And we'll also have our selection of India's best ever ODI team. Mr. Gavaskar, this Indian team has won 22 of their last 23 completed ICC white ball matches. Is this, in your view, the best ever Indian ODI team, white ball team?
This is the best team, white ball team in the world at the moment. Over the last couple of years, definitely. I'm very, very reluctant to compare, players and teams of different eras and different generations. Because all the playing conditions, everything's different. The 1983 team that won the first World Cup played with a red ball and with no field restrictions. None of the, two fielders outside, three fielders outside, none of that. Bouncers were freely allowed. The 2011 team was also playing under different conditions. So it's very difficult to compare teams. Like I said, this is the best team over the last two or 3 years in the white ball game. This Indian team is the best in the last couple of years because their performances say that. You just mentioned 22 out of 23 games that they won. That just tells you how dominant they have been.
What for you, Mr. Gavaskar, has been the standout aspect of this team that makes it really such a match-winning side?
The all-round strength. The all-round strength of this team, where the batting order could be shuffled by the captain. The bowling options were such that the bowlers could be brought on at different times, different ends, depending on who the batter was, left hand, right hand, depending on what the size of the boundary on either side was, depending on where the breeze was coming from. So those options that the captain had was terrific. But then the captain had to utilize the strengths that he had in the ideal manner. And that is what was also the difference. The captain was superb in the way he handled his bowlers, the way he shuffled the batting order up and down, the field placing, the bowling changes, everything was absolutely top class. So that was the difference, the all-round strength and the captaincy, which was not quite seen in other teams.
Interesting the way you're appraising Rohit Sharma's captaincy, but how much of a difference, Mr. Gavaskar, at the end of the day, did playing in Dubai make? Playing on slow spinning surfaces with a spin quartet?
It was not a question of playing in Dubai or anywhere else. It's a question of playing good cricket, and that's what this Indian team did. Even if they had to play on different surfaces, they would have been able to do that. When you win 22, like you've just said, 22 out of 23 matches played in different conditions. Only 5 matches have been played in Dubai out of the 22 that have been won. The other 17 matches have been played elsewhere, different pitches, different conditions. So that actually tells you that if they had to play anywhere else, the result would still have been the same. India would still have been the champions.
What for you was the turning point, though, in that final against New Zealand? Almost went to the wire, but when did that match turn?
Possibly the wicket of Rachin Ravindra, because he was batting so well. Kuldeep Yadav getting him out first ball was the reason why the Kiwi slowed down. Then in the next over, Kuldeep getting Kane Williamson, another heavy scorer in the tournament, cotton ball. That also was a big turning point. Otherwise, New Zealand could have ended up with maybe 280, 290. If both these, informed batters had stitched together a partnership.
Is there any player you want to single out in this Indian team for special praise, Mr. Gavaskar?
I'd single out Kuldeep Yadav because, sometimes he goes under the radar. He picks wickets for you. I'll also look at KL Rahul. He kept wickets superbly. And when needed, when he came into bat, he batted in a very positive manner. A couple of sixes that he hit in both the semis as well in the final. Absolutely top-class batting. So these are the two players I would certainly look at.
Just a final question. Do you think Rohit Sharma should now step aside from red ball cricket, just focus on white ball and probably hope to lift the 2027 World Cup?
That is for Ajit Agarkar and his selection committee to decide, not for me.
Sunil Gavaskar leaving that ball outside the off stump with that last question. I was speaking to him earlier. He was in Dubai. I want to widen that now to two people who've tracked cricket over the years. Shishir Atangdi is former Mumbai captain. And I want to go to Ayaz Memon, veteran sports and cricket commentator and analyst and journalist. I appreciate both Shishir and Ayaz joining me. Let's turn and look at that question. Is this the best ODI team ever? Shishir, why don't you take that first? Is this the best ODI team ever in your view that India has put up on a cricket field?
In my view, Rajdeep, yes. I'm not going by the changes in the rules, the conditions, the 60 over to 50 over, all those things taken into consideration. I mean, this team actually looks a team without any crevice. And of course, the way that they've played, very often you pick the best team, but on the given day or in a given tournament, they may not strike good form. And that's where the problems start. But in this case, I think they've picked the best team for a tournament and the players have struck form. And off the field, I think the captain and the coach have been very smart. They've picked players given good positions. KL Rahul's position was a very crucial position because every time he came in, he had to play with a cool head. He had to maneuver the strike and make sure he took India home. Also, just using him ahead of Rishabh Pant was a bold move. Then again, you had the spinners, 4 spinners in a one-day team. Never happened before. So, they've picked teams. They've taken Varun Chakravarti coming in out of the blue and, creating those wickets and those breaking those partnerships. So I think, in my view, this would be, in my view, the best team I have seen perform for India. And I'm taking into consideration 1983, 2011, and all those teams that have got us so much glory.
Let's take that to you, Ayaz, because you were there at 83 World Cup final. I was also there on that memorable day at Lord's. Then you had 2011 at the Wankhede, Dhoni's men. And now you have Rohit Sharma's men reaching the World Cup final, winning the Champions Trophy, winning the World T20. Which is the best of the 3 teams?
Well, I'm inclined to go with the current one, and I'll tell you why. I think the one which really competes with this current team is the one which actually won the 1983 World Cup, then it won the Asia Cup in 1984, then it won the World Championship of Cricket in 1985 in Australia. And remember, they also finished in the semi-final in the 1987 World Cup. That team had a lot of balance, stalwarts, Kapil Dev, Gavaskar, Mohinder Amarnath, Vengsarkar, Shastri, and so on and so forth. But this team, current one, and there was also Dhoni's team, 2011 World Champions, 2013 Champions Trophy winners, also, flush with talent. This current team has an abundance of talent and flair and, and multiple options for each position. You had 4 spinners, as Shishir mentioned, 3 of them were left-arm spinners, and you could leave out one or leave out none. That was the strength of the team. You have multiple fast bowling options and also a batting order which is very flexible, which didn't exist in the past. This is the team which has looked capable of winning everywhere that it has played or anywhere it has played. So I would go with this current one. I think we've had a golden run over the last couple of years in white ball cricket, barring, of course, that heartbreaking defeat to Australia in the ODI World Cup final in 2023.
Is it in a sense, Shishir, that because we are also the big boss of world cricket with the IPL, the biggest tournament, white ball cricket has now got so much of prominence that all these young players are coming with the attitude that white ball cricket brings, a certain flair and fearlessness. We're seeing it in the T20 game and we are now seeing it being transposed to the 50-over game as well. Is that the big difference between now and in the past when cricketers were raised on red ball games?
You made pertinent points, Rajdeep, but the biggest point is financial security. I mean, imagine you have enough money to feel financially secure to play a game fearlessly. I mean, if you didn't have the financial security, fearlessness may have been difficult. So I think a lot to do with the IPL, the experience of playing international cricket in a domestic tournament, but also the financial benefits that have come that have made cricketers feel a little secure that, this is a profession that I can go out and, express myself, which may be a cliched word, but fearlessly. And that is something that we've seen, the flair, the versatility, the fearlessness with which they played the game. I mean, look at Rohit Sharma for starters. He's gone there with a plan. It's not come off all the time. Some purists like us, old timers like us, would say, "Oh, he's thrown his wicket away after doing the hard work." But his job as an opening batsman was to give them those starts and sort of break open the game for them. And he's done it. And of course, the other batsmen have supported it.
Ayaz, is that the big difference you see? Because these players who've emerged now, the likes of Hardik Pandya, for example, are made for white ball cricket. And that has given us an extra edge. Michael Vaughan says you could have 2 Indian teams today. 22 players who could take on the world.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean, even what Shishir is saying, the security, the financial security that you get because of the IPL and the fact that the Indian Cricket Board is so rich is a tremendous kind of boost for Indian cricket. But I'll add one more dimension to this, Rajdeep, which is the internal rivalry amongst players to get into the Indian team. It has just made everybody lift their standard of play. I mean, in this Champions Trophy, Rishabh Pant, the highest paid cricketer in the IPL, cannot make it to the playing 11. The team management chose to go with KL Rahul as their wicketkeeper batsman. So that is the level of competition. Even people like, Pant or KL Rahul or some of the fast bowlers, the spinners, the top order batsmen, nobody can take his place for granted. There are 3 or 4 options available for the selectors and for the team management in case you don't measure up. So I think that has really raised the standard of Indian cricket.
Okay, what we are going to do now is Shishir, Ayaz and me are going to choose our all-time India 11 ODI. Basically, out of these 3 great sides, the Kapil Dev side, the side of Mahendra Singh Dhoni and the side of Rohit Sharma. I'm going to start with you, Shishir Adangri. I'm going to read out your 11, or you can read it out. Why don't you go ahead and tell us who is your all-time India ODI 11? White ball, World Cup winners.
You gave me a tough job, Rajdeep, but I'm not I should have had 2 or 3 days to pick it, but you can read it out. I mean, I'm going with Rohit Sharma as captain. For me, he's obviously the opening batsman and the captain. Okay. I don't have all the names, but you can read them out. I think Sachin comes number 2.
I'll go with them then. And then you can give them Sachin Tendulkar, he's chosen at number 2. Virat Kohli at number 3. Mohinder Amarnath is your choice at number 4. Yuvraj Singh is your 5th choice. Suresh Raina is your 6th choice. MS Dhoni 7th. Kapil Dev. Anil Kumble. Ravindra Jadeja. On the board, of course, I see Varun Chakravarti and Hardik Pandya also in your 11. You've replaced, in a sense, Kumble and Mohinder Amarnath with the 2. Am I correct? So you're going with Hardik and Chakravarti?
Yeah, I replaced them because Rajdeep, Anil didn't qualify for this because
because he didn't win a World Cup.
That's right. So I had to make a change, and I thought I'll bring in the X factor of Varun because he's been a mystery bowler actually, and I'm saying it's early days for him, but India and the Indian team needs somebody like him to be able to create those breakthroughs in a 50-over game, which can get boring actually. And he looks like he's going to pick a wicket every time he bowls. So he's in my side.
There's a bit of recency bias, if I may say so, in choosing Varun Chakravarti in an all-time India ODI 11. I would say that still has some way to go, but fair enough, that's your choice. Ayaz Memon, should I read out your names and then you can tell me why you've chosen them? You've also got Sachin Tendulkar and Rohit Sharma at the top. You've got Virat Kohli at 3. You've got Saurav Ganguly at 4. Saurav would not qualify in some sides because, of course...
No, Rajdeep...
Yes, go ahead. You want to list your name?
I've had Amarnath at number 4.
Okay, you've had...
I'll tell you what my 11 is. It's Sachin and Rohit. Sachin, Rohit, Kohli. I've also got Amarnath like Shishir has. I've got Yuvraj Singh. I've got MS Dhoni, Kapil Dev. I've got Kapil Dev as captain, incidentally, not Dhoni or Rohit. And I'll tell you why very shortly. I've got Jadeja. I've got Ashwin. I've got Zahir Khan. And I've got, I was told that I could include Jasprit Bumrah, so I've got him there.
Yes, you can.
Because,
he's won a world title.
He's not won a title. He's not been part of a winning team. Yeah, he
World
won a world
T20.
title, so he's also part of the team. But Kapil Dev, yes, World T20.
So we've got to replace, we've got to tell our graphics to replace Dhoni with Kapil. Okay, so you've got Kapil as your captain, not Dhoni.
Yes, yes.
Why is that?
The reason being that, it was a breakthrough victory for India. It was a breakthrough victory for India, that winning that World Cup. It just completely redefined not just Indian cricket but international cricket. It just completely redefined the sport. India becoming a major power. Before that, we had lost badly in 2 previous World Cups. Playing one of the greatest knocks ever seen, in my opinion, the greatest one-day century, 175 not out at Tunbridge Wells. And also, I think, kind of inspiring. I mean, a lot of the players we have mentioned here who've subsequently gone on to represent India with distinction were inspired by that victory. He just changed the face of Indian cricket through his deeds, and I think also his captaincy. A lot of things, people don't give him enough credit for. They say he was instinctive, he was impulsive, he was this, he was that, he was not a thinker. But remember, before that, India had won nothing. And after that, India won so many other things. So clearly there's some contribution that you must give credit to Kapil Dev for.
Okay. So we've heard various views. There are some common players in all, as is to be expected. Let me give you my all-time India 11 in ODI cricket. I start with Rohit Sharma at the top. I go then with Virender Sehwag. I believe Virender Sehwag was a player who had the kind of impact that very few other players have had. Just think of Rohit Sharma and Virender Sehwag at the top. I've got Virat Kohli at number 3. He is the greatest ODI batsman in my view across generations. At number 4, I've got Sachin Tendulkar. I don't have Tendulkar opening. I believe Tendulkar, at the end of the day, can bat anywhere in any team, but he has to be in the team. At number 5, I have Yuvraj Singh. I believe Yuvraj Singh was the X-factor, the kind of player who made the impact on ODI games, was the man of the tournament, remember, 2011. At number 6, I have Mohinder Amarnath. Again, for some, he may be a surprise choice, but he is just the kind of calming influence you want at number 6. At number 7, Kapil Dev da jawab nahi. He has to be in any Indian all-time ODI 11. I've chosen Mahendra Singh Dhoni as the wicketkeeper and the captain. I believe he just edges out Rohit Sharma quite simply because I think Dhoni handled pressure better than any other Indian cricketer that I have seen. At number 9, I have Ravindra Jadeja. I believe Jadeja brings genuine skills both as a batsman, bowler and fielder. He's my left-arm spinner assured with his 10 overs. Then I have Zaheer Khan. I've chosen Zaheer Khan because if you look at his bowling average, he gives less than 5 runs an over. He could bowl with the new ball and he could bowl in the middle over. And number 11, I've got Jasprit Bumrah, who for me is going to be a complete all-time great when it comes to both red ball and white ball. I also have Harbhajan Singh because I chose 12. If the game is played in India, I choose Harbhajan. If it's played in England, for example, I would choose a Mohinder Amarnath. Harbhajan Singh too was a very, very skillful cricketer. So that's my 12. Shishir has chosen his. Ayaz has chosen his.
I'm sorry, Rajdeep. I need a rap on the knuckle for forgetting Jasprit Bumrah, but it's just the nature of the game. He's unfit.
Okay.
And I didn't know about his fitness.
Jasprit Bumrah. Okay, no, I'll give you that. Also, remember, he didn't win a World Cup as yet. He's won a World T20. But we made an exception for him. We made an exception for him because he's just won a World Championship 6 months ago. Yeah. So that's my 11. You're bringing in Jasprit Bumrah. Fair enough. I think we can dispute who should be captain. The interesting thing is Shishir chose Rohit Sharma. Ayaz has chosen Kapil Dev. And I have chosen Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So at least when it comes to captains, we've chosen 3 very different cricketers as their captains. Either way, it's fascinating. And you too can decide on your all-time ODI 11. Thank you very much, Shishir, Ayaz, for joining me.